This is the book of Revelation, chapter 17 and 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For the Most High have put it in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. Shalom, shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to give all praise, honor, and the glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishop, and elders, great millstone that rule well, and peace and blessings be multiplied on all you brethren, teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. I'm the brother Damal Gabar, here with another lesson, Lord willing to edify through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. All right, and that great whore America, under the presidency of Donald J. Trump, is causing the beast to hate the whore, all right? And the whore in Revelation, the 17th chapter and the 16th verse represent America, okay? She's that great whore that has whored herself out to all of these nations and all of these countries around the world. And now they're, in return, are getting ready to hate the whore, because, under this Trump administration, America is moving, in ways that are basically making America and Babylon to be very despised in the sight of all of these other nations, in the sight of its allies, in the sight of the whole world, pretty much, and it's getting to the point now to where America is becoming greatly hated, mainly with his whole, with his latest antics of going into Venezuela and snatching up the President Maduro and his wife, basically taking control over the oil in Venezuela. Their collusion with the tiny tops and bombing Iran, and now with further talks of bombing Iran again, and now this situation with Greenland and America and Trump, is causing, even its own allies to be very despised, looking at America very despitefully. And basically, the whole world is seeing that America no longer, is, should be at the head of the table, all of this skullduggery, all of this, putting tariffs on their enemies, using the dollar as a means to assert economic dominance over, different countries and its allies. It's all getting played out. The whole bully on the block is causing America to be very isolated, and it's going to ultimately lead to this place being burnt with fire. You see, and it's a very beautiful thing to see, because we're literally seeing it take place before our very eyes, man. And verse 18 says, "And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth," and that is America. You see? And hey, it's the stage is being set to where, America is going to find itself with only one ally left in its corner at the end of the day, which is going to be those tiny tops. And we know through prophecy that America and those Israelis are linked prophetically to be destroyed together. And we're seeing the stage, moving in that direction, and it's a beautiful thing to see. Because I was reading this article from The Guardian, right? It says, Trump tariff threat over Greenland risks dangerous downward spiral, warn NATO members as it happened, you see? And NATO and the EU and America all represent the beast, but we know that America sits at the head of the beast because of its military power and its control of the world reserve currency, which is the US dollar. And it's left a lot of these allies, a lot of America's allies, mainly NATO, the EU, and even Canada, are, starting to greatly despise America even more. And Trump is giving them the perfect reasons to hate this whore, man. And the way that America is moving is just causing a lot of friction. It's causing a lot of distrust, and it's causing a lot of disruptions in their confederacy and allies with its partners to basically end. And it's going to lead to what I just read in Revelations, the 16th chapter. It says, the leaders of Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, the Netherlands, Norway, Sweden, and the UK issued joint statements ahead of EU's ambassadors meeting, you see. And these are all members of NATO and the EU. These are all allied partners with America. And they're all coming together to come up against Babylon and Trump because of his trying to bombard and gangster his way into taking Greenland. And he's giving all of these weak ass, dumbass excuses as of to why. And look, you even got the people of Denmark out there protesting and marching. And this is just all further fulfilling prophecy with the uproars of the people. Kingdoms against kingdoms, nations against nation, you know? So it says, look, it says summary of the day so far. It says, while ambassadors from EU countries are in their emergency meeting about Donald Trump's threat of increasing tariffs on European allies from February, unless the U.S. is allowed to buy Greenland. You see, they're bullying their way into getting Greenland into their possession. And now he's doing it to where he's putting tariffs on his own fucking allies, man, which is ultimately going to be a tax on the people, which is going to further lead to a more disgruntled society, a more angrier people, more protests, more anger, more division. You see, more hate for the whore, America, man. And you see, and this dude Trump is moving in a way to which, you know, he thinks everything that he's doing is so great, so grandiose, and people just needs to bow down and kiss the ring and do what they're told. But hey, it's going to come with a very heavy price. You see, one that America and the pride of Esau doesn't really want to see coming. So let's read some of this. It says, senior European diplomats are holding crisis talks after Donald Trump said he was targeting 8 European nations with tariffs over their opposition to his attempt to annex Greenland. The Dutch Foreign Minister David Van Wiel described the U.S. president's threats to allies as blackmail as reaction from European leaders continue to pile up. You see? So he's blackmailing, he's bullying a lot of their allies into submission to do what he wants to do, even if it's against their interests. And, a lot of these countries are getting tired of the bullshit, man. They don't see this as, ally worthy, as friend worthy. They don't see this as this is something that, partners would do to one another, especially when we've been nothing but loyal to the to America and to their interests, even when it undermines our own interests. So it's getting to a breaking point. And this is why you're going to see a lot of these countries eventually siding with the BRICS countries and with Russia and with China, because they're going to be able to get better deals. They're not going to, China will make a deal with you to where they're not going to bully you and boss you over like the West does. They're not going to use, their economic dominance over you to put you in jacked up situations, or when you don't do something that they want you to do, bring in economic sanctions, or they'll destabilize your countries, or they'll bring ruin and chaos if you don't, kiss the ring and bow down and do whatever they tell you to do, So it's putting, Babylon in a very isolated situation, which is beautiful, It says Trump's threat of imposing tariffs on European allies has been met with widespread condemnation from across the continent. The Netherlands foreign minister described the move as blackmail, while Finland's prime minister said tariffs would harm both Europe and the U.S. and would not serve anyone. You see, but but Trump doesn't want to hear none of that shit. He's on that whole, riding high on his pride. You're going to do what I told you to do. Shut the hell up. My plans are great. Your plans are stupid. I know what's best for you, and y'all need to just shut up and do what we tell you to do. And that shit's getting very old, man. It says here, Danish Foreign Minister Lars Løkke Rasmussen said global geopolitical order as we know it and the future of NATO were at stake after Trump tariff threat. He said that Europe is stronger when we collectively show muscle during a press conference. But that's why a kingdom divided can't stand, man. This whole NATO alliance is getting ready to be broken. You see? Because why? The moves of Trump, the moves that, the top member of NATO and the EU are doing, man. You see? It says the UK, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, the Netherlands, Norway, and Sweden have issued a joint statement saying Trump's threat risks a dangerous downward spiral and undermines transatlantic relations. The statement added that the countries stood in full solidarity with Denmark and the people of Greenland. You see? So they're divided in this whole situation. And now with Trump, like I said, it's just going to end up causing your allies to hate your fucking guts, man. And it's going to eventually lead them to siding with your enemy against you, man. You see? That's beautiful. Let's get this. Obadiah chapter 1, verse 6. It says, how are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All the men of your confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. there is none understanding in him. You see? Because why? They're blinded by pride, man. And like I said, and Esau is moving in such a way in these last days that, it's going to lead to his destruction. It's going to lead to him, being isolated. But it's all through the spirit in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. The Lord is putting the spirit on Trump to be the stout-hearted, to puff at his enemies, to be bull-hearted and stubborn. Because it's going to lead to the counsel of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai to be fulfilled. Like I read in Revelation 16 chapter, man. You see, it's all, let me get that again. It's all for the counsel of the Most High, you see? And it says, what? For the Most High have put it in their hearts or their minds to fulfill his will. See? And to agree and to give their kingdom unto the beasts, until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. You see? So this is all prophetic. It says, this came after Culture Secretary Lisa Nandy said the UK's position on Greenland was non-negotiable. She added that the UK needs to have an adult debate with the US and that Keir Starmer will talk to Trump at the earliest opportunity, but could not say if that would be at Davos in the coming weeks. You see, because the Most High is hardening Trump's heart, man. He's not trying to negotiate. He just wants what he wants, and all the negotiations are going to be what's best for America's interest, even if it's horrible for the interests of these different nations, man, and their allies. Yep, it says, what else is in here? Yeah, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte said he spoke with Donald Trump regarding the security situation in Greenland and the Arctic. Emmanuel Macron is expected to call on the EU to activate its powerful anti-coercion instrument if the U.S. imposes tariffs. Well, he's talking about putting tariffs. I think I just read it. He's going to do it on February 1st if these tariffs kick in. So within the next couple of weeks, we're going to continue to keep our eye, see what happens, see how these devils end up moving. But we know it's all going to move and dance to the tune of prophecy. It says the mechanism, which has never been used before and dubbed its trade bazooka, allows for curbing imports of goods and services. Trump has even sparked criticism from his allies in Europe, you see, as an Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni condemned the threat as a mistake. Meloni added that she already told Trump about her opposition to his approach. Amid the criticism of Trump's announcement, Denmark's foreign minister is to visit fellow NATO members Norway, the UK, and Sweden in the next weeks to discuss the alliance Arctic security strategy. And a lot of that strategy is going to be, maybe we should join BRICS. Maybe we need to break this alliance with America. Maybe we're going to have to put military troops there. Maybe we're probably going to have to go to war with one of our strongest allies over this position of Greenland. You see? So we're just going to have to wait and see, but hey, it's all on the table. It's all very possible. It says Trump's former Vice President Mike Pence said the aggressive approach to Greenland was a threat to the NATO alliance, but that he thought we have an absolute national security interest in controlling and I think ultimately owning Greenland. You see? But hey, your allies and your neighbors don't think so, and a lot of those people from Greenland, they said they don't want to become Americans, man. You see, and this is why they're out there protesting. Look, Greenland is not for sale. A lot of them are saying they don't want to become American. They don't want any meddling with America on our soils, man. So, hey, prophecy is definitely moving. And, hey, these alliances are going to eventually break. The Confederacy will be broken. These nations will hate the horde. And it's going to eventually lead to America being nuclearly annihilated by a lot of its own allies when it's all said and done, man. So with that, Lord willing, this was oh, did I have another precept? No, I think I didn't. Yeah, so that, I don't want to make this too long. I'll just close it there. Lord willing, this is edifying. I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Lord willing, this is edifying. And to the next one, Shalom.